I took the opportunity to talk to Davide and Oriana. It would be great just to hear a little bit about your own story, and maybe in particular how your Christian faith came alive for each of you.
So I was taught since I was a kid about God, about Jesus, about what is right, what is wrong, how to behave. So all that was for me just a bunch of rules, how to behave, how to be good. But it wasn't anything really personal until I reached the 17 years of age, where I wasn't a really good boy. I have to say, I was a bit cheeky, naughty.
You were dangerous.
Maybe nasty.
Whoa.
There was a point of conviction for myself when I felt really convicted about what I was doing. It was wrong. And above all, that I let God down. And that was a turning point for me, because until there, it wasn't personal. But at that point, God, instead than discard me, He just took me, loved me, and took me on a journey that I'm still on.
Fantastic. Thanks, Davide. What about you, Oriana?
Yeah, so similar to Davide, I was brought up in a Christian family, taken to church every Sunday. I didn't go kicking and screaming. I went with the flow, happy enough, until I hit my teens. And I started to think about what on earth is the point of it all. What do the Bible stories mean? What on earth is this Jesus Christ who died on the cross? And I was troubled because I didn't feel like it affected my life or had anything to do with my life. And when I was 15, I also went through an eating disorder. It was the year in which I was doing my standard grades, so English GCSEs. And I was I was suffering from very low self-esteem, very unhappy really. On paper things were fine, academically a success, but inside of myself I was a mess. And I wanted control, and the eating disorder was a way I could control my life. That same summer, we moved as a family to Cheshire, to Hertford, Northwich area. And we started, as usual, Mum and Dad would be looking for, a church, right? Where's our new church family going to be? And we started going to a Church of England in Hertford. And that was great because for the first time, really, the age and stage that I was at, I saw young people, they had something that I didn't have. They knew God personally. They had something that gave them a joy, a purpose, and a peace that I did not have, definitely. And I wanted that. And that night, when I was going to bed and I was crying, as I often did during that period, linked to my eating disorder, I reached for my Bible, which was just on the shelf, dusty, didn't mean anything to me. And I opened it randomly, honestly. And it fell open in that verse in the New Testament where it says, your body is the temple of the living God. And I felt God speak to me directly and say, I love you, Oriana. And what you're doing is damaging the body that I created and that I love. And I don't care what you look like, it doesn't matter, because I love you, I've made you, and I've got a purpose and a plan for you. And I felt just washed, clean, just liberated, a freedom, a release, a refreshing, that just set me on fire, really, for the rest of my life so far, basically. And I said a prayer in the next youth group meeting, I think it was, where I just said, Lord God, I don't know how I'm going to survive sixth form, England, my life, but I commit it to you. And I just felt a strength and an excitement about the Bible. I started reading the Bible and it was alive, it was a page turner, and it's been like that ever since.
Brilliant. So we're going to be dedicating René, and it'd be great to hear how the two of you, what stirred that, and why the two of you are doing that this morning and wanting to bring René to be dedicated.
So for us, and theologically, children are a gift from God, and so we just want to thank God for her. We dedicated Aurora. We're not labelling our children as Christians. We're bringing them up, with Christian values and knowledge and understanding of God, but it is by no means a conversion process. But we're very much wanting to publicly thank God for René.
We will be dedicating René, and but also we want to pray for you as a family as a whole. Not least because you've got a big move coming up, and it would be great just to hear, just very briefly, maybe Davide, how God's led you to that, and where you're going to be going, what you're going to be doing, and how God's led you.
Here in Manchester, we have been so happy. We got everything needed: our family, church, friends, good jobs, everything. And we felt this question: are you going to settle for what is comfortable? This is it. And we clearly, both of us, felt convicted. No, we were kind of looking, God, what do you want us to do? We want clarity, but instead of clarity, God replied to us, you need to trust God. So trusting God. And that we have done. Trusting God doesn't mean just relax back and doing nothing. So we've been actively, moving forward, knocking at doors and asking what to do. And Rome is the result of it. And every step that we have done, we have felt peace about it.
We had an action plan for if we stay in Manchester, and an action plan, what if now is the time for us to move on into a different season, geographically elsewhere, and the doors have opened basically. I've got a job in an international school in Rome, and we felt last year God putting Rome on our hearts, both of us, so that's like confirmation of that.
And Rome, Italy, although it's a Christian nation, it's only 1% of the population is evangelical, and we want to play our part. Is a difficult land in many ways.
Really appreciate you sharing your stories, both what's in store. It's going to be a privilege to be praying for you both now and going forward, and also a real privilege to dedicate René. But thanks for sharing both today.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks,
Thank
Andy.
you.